Hi, I'm Amber, and I wanted to take a minute and share with you my e-spinner. I am in my Cabover camper. It is very small and space is very much at a premium, and there's really not anywhere comfortable in here to sit and treadle on my treadle wheels, so I purchased an e-spinner for travel specifically. I really am happy with that decision. So some things that are pretty specific to the Spinolution is that they have the fastest motor on the market right now in the e-spinners, which basically is your ratios. Instead of changing your ratios out on the back of the flyer, you adjust them here on your speed dial, which is all e-spinners. It comes with a built-in battery. You do not have to buy it separate. It's actually inside of the unit, and that battery will last up to 14 hours on a charge, which is pretty nifty, I think. And it comes with a car charger and a wall charger, both. It's pretty handy. The foot pedal is separate and it's plugged in here, and I highly recommend that. It makes it pretty convenient. Some of the cool features also of all Spinolution wheels are the magnetic flyer and orifice bar to change out your bobbins. I'll go over that in a minute. And it also has a kickstand, which is the only e-spinner I know of that you can put up on a kickstand at an angle, which I will also go over here shortly. Figure we'll get rid of all the spec tech stuff out of the way. It weighs 14 pounds. It's a pretty good weight, not obnoxious, and it's got a built-in handle up on the back to help you carry it, which is pretty nifty as well. The 14 pounds I think is a good thing, because I know other folks that have different e-spinners, and when they chain ply or Navajo ply, however you preferred it to be called, they've actually pulled their units off onto the floor and have to use industrial Velcro to hold their e-spinner down, which I didn't think that was a very good deal myself, because e-spinners are definitely an investment. They're not exactly cheap. But the plus side of a Spinolution Firefly e-spinner is that you can choose your flyer and bobbin size, from a 4-ounce flyer and bobbins to a 64-ounce flyer and bobbin. And they are modular, which means they unhook from the base of the e-spinner and they will connect to the Monarch treadle wheel by Spinolution. That's pretty neat as well. I'm liking the word neat today, if you couldn't tell. It seems to be the only thing in my vocabulary. And by the way, this is my first video ever, so bear with me. I'm a little shy. Anyway, on to better things. The Spinolution is a Pacific Northwest based company, and they're made with the Baltic birch plywood. Some people may frown on that, may not. It's something food for thought. So let's look at some of the cool features here. One thing to be aware of is when you let off the pedal, the flyer takes a minute to slow its momentum. On a treadle wheel, when you stop treadling, your feet kind of drag, and so it kind of helps slow it down. So it just something to be aware of is that it does take it a minute. Okay, so the modular flyer is here. It unscrews and it unhooks, and then you can take this from the Firefly to the Monarch and vice versa. If you have a Monarch, you can buy just the base and its flyers will attach. The kickstand feature that I was talking about is down under here. You just flip it out and you can stick it on the ground. I use it in the floorboard of my car when the other half is driving, and I'll spin while going down the freeway. I definitely like that, especially the spots of freeway that you've seen a million times and you don't want to look at anymore. To go from spinning to plying, to reverse the motor, is simply just flipping this switch down to ply, and that changes the direction of the flyer. It's a Scotch tension wheel, and you adjust your tension here with a tension block, and it is fairly sensitive. You can definitely fine tune your uptake and get it to where there's nothing or where it's really pulling, which is, I really like that, and that's true of all Spinolution wheels. Here is the magnetic hook, and there's a nice bearing there, and then the bobbin is magnetic as well, so it's literally seconds to change out your bobbins. You can get a different orifice hook. Instead of the hook, you can get an actual orifice, which is nicer for some of the art yarns. And speaking of spinning art yarns or more technical yarns or adding beads or things, you can literally turn this thing down to where it's doing just barely turning. And then you can get it to where it's definitely spinning, and that's how you know, get the yarn thickness that you want, instead of putting it on a 1-to-1 ratio or a 5-to-1 or a 2-to-1 or whatever it may be on your particular wheel. You do it with your speed dial, and it's the revolutions per second versus, you know, treadle to wheel. That's kind of handy because you can get where your adjustments where you want your yarn to be, and then you set it right there, or you can put a little piece of tape to remind yourself. A few things that I've kind of learned is that, like, if I get done spinning in the evening and I know I'm going to come back to it later, I'll just kind of kick my speed down and kind of slowly get myself going until I get my little groove going, and then I'll get it back to where I know I like to spin that weight of yarn. And it's definitely great for a travel wheel, taking to classes, spin-ins, if you have injuries, hips, knees, ankles, because it does take zero energy. I have been known to lay back on the couch with my feet completely up and tuck my pedal underneath the edge of my leg or under the heel of my foot to just lay back and be very lazy and spin. But I do really like it in the RV. Being in a Cabover camper, there's, like I said, there's really nowhere comfortable to sit and spin. And this is definitely a way when we go off on our adventures that I can take it with me and hone my craft and enjoy being out in the wilderness and spin some yarn while I'm at it. I definitely enjoy taking my craft with me everywhere I go. So if you're anything like me and like to go, it's definitely a great wheel for that. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, do the thing that you do on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I do plan on doing some more videos with the e-spinner, maybe some how-tos, some tutorials, so definitely leave that in the comments if you might be interested in something like that. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to share the Spinolution Firefly. I really think that's pretty nifty, but I also enjoy their bullfrog quite much too, and but you know, I like to treadle as well. But the e-spinner is also great for production. You can definitely get some serious spinning done in a very little time. Now, some people say that, you know, having an e-spinner will make you a better spinner and this and this and that. Well, it can definitely make you a kind of a more consistent spinner because you can focus on your hands and your drafting because the feet element is there. But if you're a pretty lumpy, bumpy spinner before an e-spinner, I don't feel that an e-spinner is going to not make you a lumpy, bumpy spinner. It's definitely a craft that takes practice and time, and an e-spinner is not going to eliminate needing practice and time and learning your fibers that you're working with, and how each wool behaves differently, and an e-spinner is not going to take away those elements of spinning. But if you're already a fairly consistent spinner and have a good concept of draft and control, then yes, it could improve your consistency in that instance, I would say. I really can't think of too many other things. Of course, the negatives is it's electric. That means you've got to charge it, and cords and those sorts of things. but most of us have something that's electric these days and carry cords and whatnot, so I figure what's one more in my laptop bag, because it's very small. It's just a little AC charger that doesn't take much, and it's pretty simple to throw in a cord. And the charge, I think I already said this, lasts 14 hours. I can definitely spin a 4-ounce braid and ply it on one charge without any problems. Even though I would hope so. Shouldn't take me 14 hours to spin that much, but anyway, like I said, have any questions, just hit me up and let me know. I'm kind of rambling now, so you all have a great day, and I hope you have a